Hi, my name is Ray Wickenheiser. I was the ASCLD president from 2017 to 2018. I'm going to give you a brief presentation just on what I learned as president, what it opened my eyes to, what surprises I had as the president. So, ASCLD is a volunteer organization, and the mission of ASCLD is to promote and educate on forensic science. Act as an advocate for forensic labs, develop and educate existing directors, and developing leaders for the future leaders, future directors of crime labs. Look at the mission of crime labs. That is to increase the value of evidence. And what we really want to do is kind of marry up the two. And what ASCLD really does is bring together groups of leaders and see how we can work together and even further advance not only our causes and our missions to increase value of evidence, but to do that on a larger scale. As we could probably all agree, technology is increasing faster and faster, and for all of us individually to keep up is a bigger and bigger challenge. There's roughly 400 or so crime labs. We're all doing more or less similar work, but being our own advocates and speaking with one voice, the chances of, even if you're in the top 10%, 40 labs, being in that category, you being in one of those labs for every single thing, pretty unlikely. So the opportunity to advance your own program while also helping others advance is really a huge opportunity that I saw, and hopefully we took advantage of it a little bit. So the idea of crime labs helping crime labs and us being our own best resource was really something I took away, and the relationships that I developed as president and really have to this day of friends, colleagues have really helped me and most importantly my crime lab. So while I was the ASCLD president, I had the opportunity to take on some new initiatives. There's always something new coming down the pipe. So we were able to put on a rapid DNA workshop and have a rapid DNA working group that hopefully shared out some good procedures and things to help all the crime labs move forward into that direction. We also worked on an accreditation initiative, which was furthered then by the president after me, Matthew Gemet. We had an emerging drug task force, which at the time opioids were really still are a crisis, but really coming into the fore. So we worked on that in terms of getting a message out, trying to act again as one voice for crime labs. One of the big roles as the president is being a point of contact for lawmakers, media, NIJ, DOJ, and other agencies. So being that person, and I remember becoming president and having a president's receptions, one of the past presidents came up to me and said, be prepared for people to really care what you think for the time that you're president. And even though you sort of in a run-up, you kind of expect that, but it was a little bit jarring, the fact that now you are the voice for all of your colleagues. So I really enjoyed that point. In a way, a year was about the right amount of time because you are that go-to person. You sort of get used to people really caring what you think, even more so than your past job. And it is kind of a pleasure to pass the torch on to the next incoming president. So years plenty long, but it's really enough to be able to put your hand to it. And I really enjoyed taking that time. One of the things that was also a bit of a surprise to me was that weekly president's message that we put out. Communication is really critical, and having our weekly circular to get the to have the president's message out every week. It was surprising how much of a challenge it was, but also a challenge I really enjoyed. And here's what's going on this week. But then also when there was a slow week, so to speak, I was able to kind of put my own hand to it. So that was a lot more fun than I really had anticipated. So it really was, when I say academic fun, being a leader of a group of dedicated and like-minded individuals. It's amazing how much we are cut from the same cloth. And even though we represent a lot of different jurisdictions, it really is a lot of fun getting to know what the challenges are, what the strengths and weaknesses are in different parts of the country, how much we do have in common, and the different ways that people have come up with solutions to their problems. And there isn't a place that I've been to or person I've met where I haven't been able to bring something back. Even if it's just reinforcing that we are doing something really well, but there's always a learning opportunity and something that we can use to bring home to our own crime lab. So I feel like I lead a fairly boring life, and if it wasn't for forensic science and involvement in organizations like ASCLD, it's really taken me places that I would never have been otherwise. I've met some wonderful, dedicated people that are on the same page, really trying to do things right and guide the people in their lab to do so. Really doing the best with the resources that are entrusted to us. Um, Our communication with labs and stakeholders is really a key piece, as I'd mentioned. Other things that we were able to do, promoting standards and best practices, and you can see how far we've come with the OSAC, being able to be a representative on the Forensic Science Standards Board, working on our member resources. Annual meeting is, of course, a great time, and with COVID, I think I've come to recognize how social are creatures. I didn't think I was that social, but I'm a lot more social than I thought. Really missing the personal contact that we get with that annual meeting. Webinars are great, and we've been able to put on a lot of those, which are great to get the information out to people. But there's nothing like being there in person. So I'm really looking forward to our next meeting in Boston. And I think I'll probably speak for a lot of people. It'll be great to get back to normal. So hopefully everybody can get vaccinated and we can, get back there. One of the things, I guess, a personal experience, proud moment for me, so to speak. I was out at a conference, and a very senior retired lab director that I quite look up to said, "Hey, Ray, I really enjoyed your reading your messages," and he commended me on one in particular that he felt gave a voice to labs. So that was really a proud moment, just where, somebody's out there reading it and took something away. So that was really nice. The second moment was when a DNA technical leader I knew had pulled out a message and showed it off to our staff, and just to provide a perspective on testing order and narrowing focus to probative items. So it really is nice to get that feedback. And as the person who's really had the privilege to sit in the chair of the ASCLD president, it's such an opportunity, and one that I would really commend or advise anybody if they have an inkling to do it. Sitting on the board is really an opportunity. There's kind of more junior board postings where you can kind of come up to speed. And then if it's the right time for you to be president, I think is something I just would highly recommend. I see it as being one of the great life experiences where I've had the opportunity to serve, and it provided surprising enjoyment through that service, and I've developed great relationships that have continued to this day. Hopefully I left the organization in as good a shape it was when I started, and ideally we took a small step in progressing forward. So again, I'd encourage anybody to serve on the board, and if it is your thing, through that board experience, maybe it is something that you have a calling to do. So it was one of my great life experiences, and enjoyed it thoroughly, and hope maybe it's for you. So enjoyed talking to you. Take care.